Question for you. If you called your lawyer tomorrow, well, you went to your lawyer, your accountant, and your banker, and you saw them in gym shorts and sweatpants or sweatshirt, would you be wondering what's going on? So why aren't we wondering about the Senate? Folks, welcome back to the Rant Network. Let us dive into the raw and unfiltered issues spanning news, pop culture, politics, and beyond. Whether we're dissecting today's absurdities, and today is as absurd as it's going to get, or delving into society's deepest seated issues, we're here to keep it real, folks, here at the Rant Network. So buckle up. Let's get loud, folks. You're tuned into the Rant Network. So, I know that there are schools out there that are trying to create dress codes, and we teach kids, teenagers, university kids, whatever age group you want to talk about, appropriate attire. And we know that there are a lot of people out there today, Stuart, who, they don't want to wear a suit and tie or business attire, and they'd be much more comfortable in shorts and a t-shirt. And I agree. But when we're talking about the highest positions of the land in terms of representing the people in government, we're expecting people to dress a certain way because it brings out in you a certain level of professionalism. That's at least what I think. What do you think, Stuart?
So let's first understand, most of the time you see me wearing a t-shirt and David wearing a Henley, or a sweatshirt because he's in the Arctic North. And there's nothing wrong with it when you're having an informal conversation. But, there is some levels of etiquette that have existed in this country long before it was a country, where a formal person wore what would be called a suit of the time, attire of the time. Fetterman wants to be a Zuckerberg, a Jobs.
Remember, it's Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania.
I know it's Senator John of Pennsylvania, but you sure he's not John Fetterman of San Diego, of the Bahamas? Because here in the United States, you're used to seeing our politicians in jackets, sweaters, ties, shirts, slacks. And I think, if you remember back, Mitt Romney broke the mold by wearing a sweater and not a jacket. But he wore a tie under his shirt. And the Democrats went bananas over Mitt Romney's sweater. But now you hear silence over Dumbo from Pennsylvania. Why am I calling him Dumbo? Because the man looks like Dumbo. I'm sorry. The guy acts like Dumbo. Oh, he's got mental illness. We should feel sorry for him. You're right. I would feel sorry for him if he didn't represent any part of the U.S. Senate, because Dumbo with a mental health issue doesn't belong in our Senate. He is incapable of making the correct decisions at any time for himself, nevertheless for the others. And the will of the population of Pennsylvania keeps reelecting this idiot.
Well, no, they only did one. I think it's one term, no?
Two
terms?
They reelected him.
All right.
He is, he's born in 1969, David, so he's our age. He's a member of the Democratic Party. He's been from 2006 to 2009, the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania. And he's generally described as a progressive populist, right? He is an advocate of legalizing marijuana and paying employees $15 an hour. Well, if you want to get $15 an hour, that sounds pretty good right about now, because the left progressives want $25 an hour, but it's not about his political feeling. It's about the disgrace of the U.S. Senate. And it's my opinion that wearing sweatpants and sweat tops to serve this great nation, it shouldn't be done. And I would request every member of the Senate wear shorts and Hawaiian beach jerseys in honor of the disaster in Maui, and at least have an excuse to do it on a Friday. But this idiot wants to do it every day of the week. And I don't hear John Fetterman crying out for what happened in Hawaii. Why wear a sweatshirt, John? Why don't you wear a Hawaiian shirt in honor of all the dead and fatalities and destruction in Maui? But nope, you want to wear some child labor Nike sweatshirt because you think it's cool and young kids will like you. I think they think you're an idiot, to be honest with you.
No,
Anyways.
no, I don't think so. I think that Pennsylvanians are very happy with Fetterman. But here's the thing, Stuart, that I find absolutely hysterical. When you have somebody, okay, and I understand how that professional. Okay, how is it possible that this is okay? You're talking about a Senate where staff can't wear sweatpants. No one's have to wear sweatpants. You must wear professional attire. You don't have a choice. And yet, once again, this is the typical way we're handling society today. Let's dummy down everything to accommodate the weakest person possible. We see this with, call it, now university admission. Let's get rid of the SATs because it's not fair. Love that. Why not? Why? Standardized testing. I don't agree with testing. We have to revise standardized testing but what we've done is we've gotten rid of it because it's not fair. John Fetterman has to wear sweatpants and gym shorts? Has to? Because that's his modus operandi? Because he can't get into a jacket? Please, come on. I know a lot of people don't like suits and all that. And yet, John Fetterman is allowed to walk and traipse into the Senate looking like a gym teacher. And I think that's it's a mistake. But it's the typical way we're handling things today. We're not thinking about elevating anybody. We're thinking of bringing everybody down to a very simplistic level because, God forbid, someone should try. Now, I'm sorry. I don't buy into the idea that he can't wear a suit jacket. No tie. Forget the tie. Wear a golf shirt underneath your jacket. I don't care. But to stand there in gym shorts, the man stood at the door to vote. He didn't come to the Senate floor because he was inappropriately dressed. And Chuck Schumer said he'll wear a suit, but his colleague doesn't have to wear a suit. Now, when one of the GOP said, "Hey, I'm going to come in a bikini," they said, "Oh, no, that's inappropriate." What? Stuart, I'm throwing this back at you. Has your government to wear suits and everybody wears business attire? But at what point have we crossed the line?
David, we've crossed the line. The world has gone and trying to take the minority and treat them like the majority. And it's wrong in the spirit of the law. It's wrong in the practice of the law. You shouldn't look at the minority and ignore them. You got to treat everyone equal, but not at the sacrifice of the majority. And that's been an issue throughout history as being the case because we never cared about the minority. And now we're trying to overcompensate, and it's now causing the insanity, not the minority. And they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until such time that everyone in the majority is going to not just push back, it's going to put it back in the box. And I think that the wins that have been achieved should be commended for all of society. But I think we've got to take a pause on this minority hate group because it's the minority hating the majority is the problem. We've talked about, and David and I have our differences over sexualization and acceptance of everything in the mainstream. And we don't agree on everything in this area. And that's fine to have a disagreement. David and I have been friends for 45 years. and we still have disagreements. But at the end of the day, the root of what both David and I are trying to convey is tolerance is a good thing. Abuse of the tolerance is another. And there's a line that's being crossed, and Fetterman is yet crossing it again. And I too want to encourage every member of the Senate to wear Hawaiian shirts on Friday in support of Maui and donate the cost of their Maui shirts to Maui so that we can at least show the world that the U.S. Senate cares about the tragedy in Hawaii. David?
And honestly, I respect it. All right, I respect what you're trying to say, but I think that the issue isn't about dressing down. I mean, imagine a police officer stopping you, and look, when they go on strike, they like to wear camo gear, right? Just to stick it to the whole thing. We expect certain people in certain positions to be dressed in a certain way. Okay, we expect the firemen and the police officers and everybody to be dressed in a certain way. We expect our bankers, our lawyers, our accountants to be dressed in a certain way. I'm not saying it has to be tuxedos, and I'm not saying it has to be super formal gear. Okay, but it's gotta be, and I mean it's gotta be appropriate. And here right now, what you're seeing in this with John Fetterman is, excuse me, it's a middle finger moment. I don't care about what's appropriate. I care about me. I want to look cool, or I've got something. Folks, when you join a group, when you are part of an association that has a code, you respect the code and you accept it. You want to change the code because it's convenient for you or whatever. That's a slap in the face to that group, and that's what I believe John Fetterman has done. He has basically told the American people, the American government, accommodate me. I don't want to accommodate you. I don't want to do what's right. I don't want to do what's appropriate. Accommodate me. And that is what we've taught young people today. That is what we've taught society today in North America, the Western world. I am the one. I matter more than society. I matter more than anybody else in the code and the code of conduct that I agree to, because I want you to accommodate me. And John Fetterman is an example. And yeah, he's my age. But I got to tell you, I would never in a million years walk on a Senate floor, government, whatever, inappropriately dressed. I wouldn't go in shorts and a sweatshirt. And I've been to the Canadian Parliament, and I have never walked into there inappropriately dressed. So to see John Fetterman, a lawmaker, do that, I told you, it's a middle finger moment to your institutions. Your mic, sir.
I'm going to close on this thought. For those people that go to houses of worship, they typically dress up to see their maker in the best attire possible.
Oh, now you pissed off the Democrats. The
left has plenty of religious, devout people, whether they're Catholics, regular Christians, Protestants, or 7 Days evangelists, or any division that I've left out. Do you think it's appropriate to sit in front of the President of the United States or the representative of the House of the President of the United States dressed like a clown? Yes. John Fetterman, you are a Senate clown, and you are the jester in the court of Senate, and that is the way I look at you. David, wrap it up. We're done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in today to the Rant Network. We hope you found value in today's conversation. Catch us every Monday, Wednesday, at Friday at noon Eastern. Catch us on social media. Share your perspectives. We genuinely value your feedback. Until next episode on Friday, keep these conversations alive. Let's